Okay, weekly quiz number 2. We were discussing what? Ratios. The quiz was about ratios, rates, time notations, and a little bit about rounding off. So, I know. This one was a little bit, tricky. There were some tricks there and there. But it's a part of learning, guys. Ne? So ratios, rates, and time notations and rounding off. The last part of the question, I'm gonna show it once we are done 1 and 2. So number 1, ratios. We were given the following statement. For making low strength concrete, the ratio of cement, sand, and stone is 1:4:4. 1.1. How many wheelbarrows of sand and stone will you need if you use 8 wheelbarrows of cement? So I have cement to sand to stone. The ratio is 1:4:4, right? Okay. In class, we did ratios where we only dealt with 2 ratios. But on this weekly quiz, I gave you sort of like a I don't know, what should I call it? A curveball, right? A 3-part ratio, right? So some of these are also examined. So it was just good practice for us, guys. Okay, so we have 1:4:4, right? A 3-part ratios. What do I mean by a 2-part ratio? This is a 2-part ratio. And then this time I'm giving you a 3-part ratio, right? 1.1. How many wheelbarrows of sand and stone will you need if you use 8 wheelbarrows of cement? Okay, some of you, I saw that you did this. Okay, so the ratio part reads as, for every 1 part of cement, you need 4 parts of sand and stone. So if your ratios have 1, if you have 1 somewhere on the ratios, the calculation becomes easier if the given quantity is under the 1. Like in this case, we have what? 8 wheelbarrows of cement. If I have 8 wheelbarrows of cement, how many wheelbarrows of sand and stone do I need? You're just gonna take the 8 and multiply it by 4 and take the 8 and multiply it by 4 under the stones as well, right? So 8 here, 4 times 8, that's a 32, and then 4 times 8, another 32. So you need how many wheelbarrows of sand? You need 32, and another 32 wheelbarrows of sand. So you need 32 wheelbarrows of sand and another 32 wheelbarrows of stone. That's all you need to do, right? This is one way of doing it. Here's the second method, right? The ratio method, the one we are used to, right? So in this case, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with finding the amount of sand. Okay, so since I'm given cement, I'm only gonna take these 2 ratios and work with them. I cannot work with all 3 ratios at once. I have to take 2 at a time. So between sand and cement, I have a ratio of 1:4. And then I'm given how many wheelbarrows of cement? I'm given 8. How many wheelbarrows of sand? I don't know. I'm gonna work it out. So I cross multiply 1 times x, that's x. 8 times 4, that's 32 wheelbarrows, right? And then you come back and take cement and cement and stone. There's a ratio of 1 to what? 4. And then I'm given 8 wheelbarrows. I want to find out how many wheelbarrows for stone do I need. I cross multiply. I'm getting the same answer as above. So this is another way of doing it, right? Your x, it's what? It's 32 wheelbarrows. Okay. Now let's jump on to 1.2. 1.2. Where am I getting 1.1.1? It's 1.1, not 1.1.1. So 1.2. How many spades of cement will you need to mix with 36 spades of sand? So I have a ratio of what? 1 to 4 between cement and sand. So again, for this question, since our ratio is what? Cement, sand, and stone. It's a 1-4-4 relationship. So I am given 36 spades of sand, right? And I want to find out how many spades of cement will I need. How many of spades of cement do I need when I'm given spades of sand? So there's a ratio of 1 to 4. How many spades of cement do I am I given? 36. I want to find out how many spades of cement do I need. I don't know how many. I'm going to place an x. I cross multiply. I'm getting a 4x. 1 times 36, that's 36. Divide by 4 both sides. Then my x is equal to this. 36 over 4, 9. 9 spades. 9 spades. 1.3. How many bags of cement will you need to buy if you use 36 bags of sand? So again, we isolate. I'm gonna take what? Okay, sand. Okay, this time it's stone. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and this. I'm only gonna take these two. Sand to stone. What is the ratio? 1 to 4. This time we are dealing with bags, right? So you can use the ratios to calculate any amount. What do I mean? You can calculate bags, you can calculate spades, you can even calculate a spoon of cement. Like if you wanna create like a small project. Let's say you wanted to create a small project and the project doesn't require a lot of cement, or it does not require a lot of concrete, right? So maybe you wanted to create something in a bucket, right? You can use this ratio. If you wanna do your measurements in cups, you can use the ratio. It's still gonna work. You wanna work with teaspoons or spoons, the ratio is still gonna work. Yeah. So in this case, we are given how many bags of stone? 37. How many bags of cement will I need? I don't know. I'm putting an x. I cross multiply. That's 4x. 1 times 37. That's 37. Divide both sides by 4. X is, let's check, 37 divided by 4. That's 9.25 bags. Okay. If you got this, I gave you 4 marks for the 1.3. But in the future, round it off to the correct amount. Just use your common sense. I need 9.25 bags of what? Of cement. But when you go to the shop or a warehouse to buy cement, they are selling it in bags, right? You cannot get a half a bag or a quarter of a bag, right? So in order to okay, this answer should be 10 bags. Should be 10 bags, right? I'm rounding it off to 10. Why? Because the answer A, it has a decimal, right? So I'm rounding it off to 10 so that I can accommodate what? The decimal. I cannot buy 9.25 bags. I can only buy a full bag, right? So this is actually 9.25 of what? Of a bag. 9.25 of what? Of a bag. So I cannot get a quarter of a bag at a shop, right? But I can only get what? One full bag. So 9 plus another full bag to accommodate what? The quarter of the bag. So I need 10 bags. Yes. All right. Now done with ratios. Let's move on to rates. The rates the rates question was a little bit tricky, right? Was a little bit tricky, but not so difficult. A car has an average petrol consumption rate of 8 liters per 100 kilometers. This is our rate. For every 8 liters, I'm gonna travel only 100 kilometers, right? I cannot go beyond 100 kilometers. So for 2.1, they want us to find out how much petrol will the car use if I wanted to travel 370 kilometers. So what is our rate? It's 8 liters per 100 kilometers. Okay, how many liters do I need? I don't know, but I know I want to travel a distance of 370. We cross multiply. I'm getting 100x equal to, take the 8 and multiply it by 370. I'm getting 2960 divide by 100 divide by 100. The x value is now 29.6 liters. This is how many liters I need to travel 370. Then 2.2, if the current price of petrol is 10 rand 30 per liter, how much will it cost to travel 370, right? So in order to calculate the cost, I need to know the number of liters it takes to travel 370. Lucky for us, on the previous question, we did find the value for the liters required to travel 370 kilometers, right? So somehow the 2.2 question is linked to 2.1. Ne? To calculate the cost, you need the liters of petrol. So we do have, it's 29.6. Okay. For this one, again, it's a rate. That's 10 rand 30 to 1 liter. I want to find out the cost. I don't know how much 29.6 liters it will cost. So I'm placing an x here. Then I cross multiply. 1 times x, that's x. 10.30 multiplied by 29.6. 29.6 times 10.30. Answer 304.88 rands. So this is how much it would cost to travel 370 kilometers, right, at this current price of petrol. Okay, then Siagu 2.3. We're going for 2.3. If the owner of the car puts 550 worth of petrol in the car, how far will she be able to travel until the petrol runs out? Until the petrol runs out. Okay, so yeah, this one. Hey, this one. Hey. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna have to work out the number of liters. After finding the number of liters, we can now calculate the distance she can travel. So first step is to do what? Is to get the number of liters, right? This is our first step. Then our next step would be to calculate what? Number of liters. Then Okay, this being our first step, and then our second step, we can now calculate what? The distance traveled. Right? So first things first, we have to, in a way, we are working the problem backwards, right? We want what? We want the distance traveled. So we cannot find a distance without having the liters of petrol, because we are actually looking at the ratios. Okay, not the ratios, but the rates. We are given two rates here, right? We are given the petrol rate, which is 10 rand point 80 per liter. We can use this to calculate the number of liters. Then the second rate, which is 8 liter per 100 kilometer, right? So this rate we can now use to do what? To find the distance traveled. So I'm given an amount of money, and the question is, how far will she be able to travel until the petrol does what? Runs out. What is the distance she will be able to travel with to 550? So let's do this. Hence I'm saying we're gonna work backwards. I'm gonna start with this rate and find the number of liters. Step number 1. So what is the rate? The first rate, this one. So it's what? It's 10 rand 30 per 1 liter. Per 1 liter. And I have, or she has, 550 in her pocket. How many liters will she be able to buy with to 550? We cross multiply. I get a 10, it's a 10.30 x equal to 1 times 550. That's gonna be a 550. Divide both sides by 10.30. 10.30 cancel, x is equal to, let's check, 550 divided by 10.30, answer 53.40. 53.40 liters. So this is the amount of liters she will be able to buy with 550. So how far can this 53.4 liters take us? That answers the question. So we are on the second step, and I'm using what? The second ratio. So that's 8 liter per 100 kilometers, right? So I have 53.4 to x. Cross multiply, I'm getting an 8, x equal to 1, 2. That's 5340. Divide by 8, we get our x. 5340 divided by 8, I'm getting a 667.5 kilometer. This is our solution for the last question on rates. Okay, if you have a question, you know where to find me. Okay. So let's take this down and put up the last part of the questions. So that's 3 time notations. Maybe for this one, maybe for number 3, I can just answer on this table. Okay, so this is okay, cool. Right, cool. Alright, so time notations. We are converting between the following time notations. We are dealing with the 12-hour notation and the 24-hour notation. So the 12-hour notation, it uses the AM PM system. The 24-hour, we do not use AM PM system, right? Because the 12-hour notation, the 12-hour clock, it divides the day into AM before midday, antemeridium, and post-meridium after midday, right? So this is 14:30 on the 12-hour notation. This should be 2:30 p.m. This is after midday, right? 14:30. This is after midday, right? So it's gonna be 02:30 p.m. Then 23:39. This is what? 11:39 p.m. This is after midnight, right? After midnight. So 22:22 a.m. This is actually 02:22. No p.m., no a.m. But some of you guys, I saw that you wrote p.m., abanye even a.m. Some even left out the seconds. They even left out what? Seconds. So if the 12-hour notation shows you hours, minutes, and seconds, when you convert, make sure you keep the same format. Show seconds, minutes, and hours. So this was required here, the 22 seconds. So 7 p.m. on the 12-hour clock, we're gonna have 19:00. No p.m., no a.m. right, on the 24-hour notation. Okay, this concludes 3. Rounding off. 4.1. Round off 12.45555 to 2 decimal places. This means that I only need 12.1 decimal place, second decimal place. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place. So we round off, right? So it's going to be the 12.4. This 5, I'm going to round off, right? I look at the next number after the 5. It's also what? 5. So 5 is bigger than 4. So it means that I'm rounding up. It's going to be 4, 6. If the number after 5, I'm sure it's 12.5555. Let me try using a different color. So it's 12.4555555. So we want to round off to what? 2 decimal places. This 5 should be rounded off. Yes, should be rounded off. Since the next number after this 5 is bigger than 4, which is 5, it means that I'm going to round up this 5, this one. So it's going to be a 12.46. If the number after this 5 was less than 5, maybe 4, 3, 2, we were not going to round up. Instead, we were going to round down, meaning that it was going to be, it was going to remain 4, 5. Ne? 4, 5. And then 4.2, round off this number to the nearest 100. So 4.2 has what? 1277. So this number 1 is a 1,000. Is a 1,000. The 2 is a 100. 100. So these are the place values of the numbers in the 1277. Then this 7, the place value for this 7 is what we call a 10. The place value for this last 7 is what? Is a unit. Now the question is, round off to the nearest 100. You focus on this 2. To round off, you look at this number after the 2. Right? It's what? It's 7. 7 is bigger than what? 4. It means I'm doing what? I'm rounding up. I'm going to add a 1 to the 2. So my answer is going to be 1, 3. Then everything that comes after this becomes 0. So rounded off is what? Is 1300. we're gonna cover this topic in class, right? I know we did rounding off on decimal places, right? But we didn't do the nearest 100, nearest 10, nearest 1,000. So we're gonna cover that one in class. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you gained something, right? Yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for tuning in. See you in class, guys.